Well, okay. Good evening, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to our Q&A for tonight. And let me make sure I have everybody here. How you doing, George? Good to see you. Good to see everybody here, and welcome. Welcome. Good to see everybody. And what we do on Saturdays is I take your questions. Feel free to type your questions in, or if you'd rather unmute me, rather me unmute you, that's fine. Hey, Jim, good to see you. Dana, good to see you. And yeah, good to see everybody. Um, whatever it is that you're wanting to do, you want to throw something at me, please feel free to throw it at me, and I'm happy to give you my take on it and and do the best that I can. I try not to. I know that if I come with something prepared, that'll be my default. So I've stopped coming with anything prepared to speak on. And plus, the DFY is going to be coming up after this, so I don't want to kind of overdo it before then. Um, what I will say is that coming on this weekend, we have our Windows 11 PLR, which is available. We also, this week, I started back to Blog Talk Radio, and I haven't done any interviews. I don't know if I'm going to do interviews. And what I've been doing is I'm going to just kind of talk about, things that you can be doing with your PLR. So I've moved away from um, what is it, Spotify for now, and I'm going to use Blog Talk Radio. It costs a little more. It's a little clunkier, but there's something about that platform I just like, and it gives me the flexibility to be live with the podcast. I don't want to be on camera. I know that everybody's doing their YouTube podcast. Is not something I want. I'm not interested in right now. And so let's go forward. Okay, so I've got a question here from Jim. Um, what is the best but affordable webinar software? Last time I checked, GoToWebinar was out of your price range. Um, okay. Okay. So yeah, this is a good question. Um, what's the best webinar software that is priced effectively? I think, quite honestly, that um, if I were going to, and it's not really technically a webinar software. I would, if you're going to stream live, if you're going to do something and you're going to share your screen and you want to record it, basically that's all really a webinar really does for you. StreamYard does that. It does not do registrations as well as GoToWebinar. GoToWebinar has a natural platform to register people. You can put those people into your autoresponder, and you can do it that way. Um, but I would say that StreamYard is cost effective. And really, the most cost effective would be to do YouTube Live and to just have people attend your live, give them the live link. It's you just go live, and then you stream right from there. And then you can, if you have a way of being able to share your screen. Now, that I guess my question. Um, in terms of you're doing a training every week, would you be looking to share your screen? That would be my question, because that really impacts everything. So if you're looking to share your screen, then that's sort of one set of things. Okay, yeah, you need to be able to share your screen. Okay, so um, what I personally like, yeah, and George is suggesting Zoom. What I personally like in terms of sharing my screen is Zoom. And then what you can do with Zoom, if you wanna broadcast it out, you could always restream it. But Zoom is fine to share your screen, and so is StreamYard. So Zoom and StreamYard will allow you to share your screen. And I think Zoom is 78, right? If you're going to do a webinar, it may be 50 if you're just going to share your screen as if it were a meeting. But uh, um, StreamYard, I know, is 25. Yeah, I think it's like 78 or 79. And with Zoom, yeah, with Zoom, you can right out of the box, you can stream to Facebook and YouTube all at the same time. So now you can do all those same things with StreamYard, right? You can it's a multi-stream. Let me see if I still got my account. Let's just take a look at this here. And let's see if I can just pull it open. I might still have that account. So let's go to I'm gonna share my screen with you here in a minute. Let me just go into StreamYard. Let's first look at the pricing, right? Let's look at pricing. And I'm gonna turn on my screen for you. Okay, let me just kind of get my screen sharing here. And let's see, sharing. Okay, so here's StreamYard, and StreamYard is 20 if you're going to have full HD with your recording, which I think you would, because if you're going to use that recording ever for a product, you want that to be full HD. So what we're talking about with StreamYard, it used to be 25, is now 40 a month. I think I'm grandfathered in right now at 25, so maybe that's why I thought that. They give you a few extra things, and they allow you to multi-stream to eight um, 8 destinations. And let's take a look at StreamYard. I'm going to log in here. Right, let me do that off camera. Let me just log in off camera and I'll show it to you. Let's pull this over. Too many windows open here. Okay, where's my RoboForm? StreamYard. Okay, there we go. That's been a long time since I've logged into StreamYard, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this right without doing a password reset or something like that. Okay, now I've got to go. Oh boy, I've got to go to my email address. They're making me do all this other stuff. Hopefully I can get in and I can show it to you. My StreamYard login code. I'm going to copy it. Okay, sorry I'm looking off to the side, folks. What I'm doing is I'm logging into StreamYard so I can show this to Jim. Okay, so this is StreamYard, and I think I'm still paying $25 a month, but as you can see, I think this is $40. And basically, you would decide on what your destinations are. You get a certain number of destinations. So every webinar or live would go to these places. So you can pick, I think, a certain number of them. You can pick 8. So if you can do Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and then custom RTMP. So if you have to stream someplace that's going to be uh, maybe not one of these connections, you've got to have another connection. The RTMP is going to help you to do that. And if you wanted to do Twitch, you could do that also. So that's StreamYard, and I think that they're still priced a little better than Zoom, just a little better than Zoom. So that all you need to do is to stream. Then what you're going to do is, what do you do there? You enter the studio. I don't know if I can do this at the same time as I'm doing a webinar, right? Okay, so I'm not going to allow web and cam access because that's going to get everything all messed up. So I don't know if I can go any further than that. I don't want to take any chances and mess up the webinar. Okay, so that's StreamYard. Yeah, so that's StreamYard. So I would say StreamYard and Zoom. And let me see if I can just pull everything back over here. Okay, see where the questions are. All my windows are all over the place now. Okay, let me see if I can. I lost the question screen here. I hope it's still up here. Oh, here it is. Okay, so if you need to share your screen, I try StreamYard. If you don't like StreamYard, then Zoom. Quite honestly, and if you're looking to just go total cost effective, um, you can do Open Broadcast System (OBS), and you just go to obsstudio.com. I've done videos about this, right? So I know that I did this in Streaming Video Playbook, which I'm sure you have. Um, and you can use OBS Studio. That's what I was thinking of. OBS Studio. And OBS Studio is free. So you would use OBS Studio and you would then broadcast to YouTube Live and you can share your screen that way. So now the issue with OBS Studio is going to run on your computer. So whereas all of those other platforms tend to run in the cloud, this is going to run on your computer. So you've got to have some resources on your computer because it's got to stream, it's got to process the input and the output at the same time. So your computer does need to have some memory depth to it. It's also got to have some processing power because it's going to be doing quite a bit. But if that's the case, you could do OBS Studio, and then you can also go from OBS Studio to YouTube Live, and that's free. And so you'd be able to share your screen. Now, the only thing about OBS is you're going to have to, in order to do registration and to put those people into your autoresponder, you would have to use something like Zapier, which is a cost, or you just would not worry about registering and putting the people who registered for your session into your autoresponder because technically the people who would find out about your webinar anyway would be people who are already on your list. Now, what you're obviously going to do is you're going to take the recording, probably you're going to put it on YouTube, and those people will go into an opt-in page separately anyway. So you really don't necessarily gain anything by having your registration process tied to um, your weekly session. So this is one way to do it, is to use OBS Studio and to go from OBS Studio into YouTube and share your screen through here as long as your computing power is going to be um, up to snuff. And the only way to know that is you got to test this because I have no idea what this is going to do because it's going to vary based on what computing system you have, your internet connection, all the other stuff. So I would try this first because it doesn't cost you anything, right? If you can't make this work, then you go to StreamYard because StreamYard operates in the cloud as opposed to on your computer. Both StreamYard and OBS Studio don't have registration. So it's kind of open registration, but likely you're going to be sending people to this webinar from your email. So you don't have to register them anyway. So I think that's my answer. Let me see if I've got another question here. Uh, let's see. Jim said used to use Demio. Yeah. I think they were associated with GoToWebinar. And yeah. So your people are always going to be on your list. So you could try. I would, before I spend anything, right? Before you spend anything, try OBS Studio. And as I said, you go way back with me when I started in 2020. If you go through my videos for OBS Studio or Open Broadcast System, it explains how to connect OBS Studio to YouTube, or I think it shows how to get started with that. But it's pretty simple. It's to connect it to OBS Studio. I think I can probably show you here. So let me take a look and see if I can. Oh, you know what? I don't have OBS Studio installed here. That's right. It's kind of a new computer, so I don't have it installed. Otherwise, I'd just show it to you. Let's see. And so, okay. So Jim says you got a brand new computer, lots of power, new graphics card. Yeah. So it should be no problem. I would go to OBS Studio. Let's see if we can just kind of take a look. And while we do that, I'm going to answer George's question here. George's question is, out of all the AI PLR, which ones would I do first and which would I do a follow-up with? I think that if if you are working with people who are new to internet marketing, I think that what I would do first would be ChatGPT, right? Because that's an introduction to just the world of AI, and they can actually do something, right? So they can actually produce something. From there, I would then go to prompt engineering playbook because that's how you get better, right? So you have go with ChatGPT, and if you take the upgrade to that, the tutorial masterclass, you send people to actually do stuff. You could after that go with ChatGPT plugins, right? Because if they go and they get the paid account to ChatGPT, one really good way to use ChatGPT is to use the plugins. And they are very versatile, and it really gives a person a new perspective on AI, right? So if they so I would say those three courses in somewhat that order. You could reverse them in any other order. I would not do, obviously you can't do prompt engineering, nor can you do chat GPT plugins without teaching chat GPT. So I would say first chat GPT. There's also, and you have this right someplace in your inventory. I did, as part of one of the new marketing workshops, I did an intro to AI. So you could put that one at the front. So you could say, I think that's volume 3 of New Marketer Workshop. You put those tutorials at the front, intro to AI. And then from there, you go from intro to AI to Chat GPT. Then from Chat GPT, you go to Chat GPT Advanced. Then you go to Chat GPT Plugins. Then you go to prompt engineering, right? In between prompt engineering and Chat GPT plugins, you could reverse those, right? Either way, but that's how I think the order should be. And if I were doing this, I would say that if you feel comfortable enough, you want to teach prompting, right? So you want to get comfortable enough, I think, and please don't wait, right? So I'm not saying don't teach until you're comfortable. I'm saying go ahead and schedule your sessions, start teaching prompting, right? The skill of it, the thought process of it. Because actually, if a person understands prompting, they'll then be able to then go to something like Midjourney and understand what they're doing, right? Because Midjourney is all prompting and understanding the platform. A lot of people do Midjourney by having these real elaborate prompts without understanding the platform. Because with Midjourney, the platform's everything, right? It's and so if you like, for example, let me see if I can pull up Midjourney here. Okay, I didn't finish what I was doing, which was we'll launch OBS. And I'm just going to take a look at that here. See if I can pull that up. See if it's going to come up here. Okay. Okay, so with with OBS, what you're doing is you are, let's say, setting up a scene, and every scene has sources, right? So you determine what your audio source is going to be. So how the audio is going to come in, that's going to be from your computer. Where the display is going to capture. So you're going to capture your screen, right? So you're going to choose your screen, and then this is what you broadcast, right? You stream out your broadcast. And so, I mean, there's a little more to it, but basically, this is OBS, and you're going to connect this to YouTube in order to stream out, right? There's obviously more to it. It'd be beyond the scope of this particular session, but I did do videos on that in Streaming Video Playbook. I also did it in another course. I can't remember what. If you remind me, send me a note. I'll find the videos. I'll tell you what course they're in. You can watch them there. And let me see the question here. Okay, so I think I'm caught up on the questions. Any other questions? Okay, any other questions? I think I handled that one. Okay. Okay, Midjourney. Yes, I was going to pull up Midjourney. Okay, so let's pull up Midjourney. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up my Discord server. Let's pull up Discord. And so with Midjourney, remember, so when you put up and you put the slash, there are all of these things, right? There are all these different ways. Most people just go straight for Imagine and start writing in the prompt. But there's a whole lot more to Midjourney, and the way you really navigate this is, I mean, naturally, I think that the way you should do it would be to get our course, right? That would be the best way, and I know George already has it, but if you're watching this, the best way to do it would be to get our course. But okay, so you use the Midjourney docs, right? And that combined with teaching prompting, you can really really create whatever graphic that you want. Because interestingly, I was talking to a friend of mine, and they were asking me, well, can you create clip art kind of pictures with Midjourney? And now it took me a couple of times, right? If you see here, she was trying to come up with basically a picture of a woman working behind her desk on her laptop. It took me a couple of different times, right? That wasn't quite what she was looking for. But after just a kind of a few things, eventually, I think I discovered that the phrase that made the difference would be to say vector style. And if I put in vector style and I ask for a transparent background, I could basically produce what is a clip art style image of a woman sitting behind her laptop. Now, I used a seed image in order to do that, right? So I had a seed image, and the seed image was given to me, right? Okay, let's see. Uh, what's the name of the Midjourney course again? Midjourney Playbook, and it's inside the member area. Jim, if you're going to get it, it's yeah, it's in the member area. Yeah, Midjourney Playbook. That's right. Okay, let's see. Jim is saying, or try SVG scalable graphic on Midjourney. Yeah, something like that, right? So we could do that. So we could say SVG scalable graphic. So let's say um, we say woman sitting at at her computer working on a laptop. We'll say transparent background. I'm going to put in that phrase that Jim suggested, SVG, scalable vector graphics. Let's try that. We'll see what happens here. It might need for me to give it the seed image that I gave it before, but maybe it won't. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it's going to produce something that's going to be decent, I think. Something that we're looking for. Okay, not bad, right? You know, it could be worked on, but you can produce just about anything with Midjourney if you understand the other elements. Let's see. Jim's asking, can you enlarge without you losing any quality? Yes. So what you would do is, let's say we decided we're going to go with this second one here. Then what we're going to do is we're going to upscale it. So I'm going to go to this thing that says U2, which means upscale number 2. So I'm going to pick number 2. I'm going to upscale it. Right. So we're going to upscale number 2. And let's see. Okay. So there it is. And so I could then zoom into this image, or I can zoom out of the image, right? So I can produce it a little better by going, I can zoom out or I can zoom in, right? I could, yeah. So yes, we could enlarge. And let me see what quality this is. I'm going to go into my Midjourney account. Go into my Midjourney account. And let's take a look and see what size this is. So let's save this. And I want to see what this image is. Let's see what the size is. Properties. Okay, let's open this with Snagit editor. See what the size is. Image size. Okay, so that's 1024 by 1024. So that's not bad, right? It's not great, but that's good enough, right? 1024 by 1024 pixels. So yeah, you can enlarge an image on Midjourney without losing quality, right? Because basically what we did was we took one of these, we clicked the upscale button, that gave us this, and this image, when we download it, is going to be 1024 by 1024. All right. Let's see. Let me scroll through the questions here. Okay, I think I'm caught up here. George, did I answer your question? Did I answer your question, George? Okay, great. Okay, any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, yeah, James' question about Blog Talk Radio. Let me see what your question is. Yep, I did see that, and which is better for podcasting, Anchor.fm or Blog Talk Radio? I would say that Anchor.fm is the best place to start. Blog Talk Radio is very clunky. It is expensive, and I'm not even sure why I like it. I just like it, and it's easy to do interviews because all the person really has to do is call in on their phone. Now, if you're going to do an interview show and you feel like you can monetize that time, right? Because let's say that if you're pretty confident that, let's say you could do one podcast a week, and let's say you did two, and let's say that you did two interviews every week. And on those two interviews, you put somebody on there who you could promote as an affiliate, right? You could probably get your 250 for that time. And the longer you do it, it's going to grow. So the challenge with Blog Talk Radio is overcome by the monetization. And Blog Talk Radio, even though you can do all of what it does someplace else, even though it costs money, the number one thing it does is it allows you to say to somebody, just give me a call, we'll do the interview. Now you could do that with free conference call, you could do that with other things, but you could have them call in, you could do a live broadcast, and they don't need a computer, they don't need anything, all they need is a mobile device. They could be in their car and they could do an interview with you. So in other words, you have eliminated the barrier of getting people to interview. So if you're going to do an interview show, Blog Talk Radio is ideal because you can do it live and you can eliminate. Because I'm just saying, if a person were to interview me and they said to me, well, you got to be on camera, you got to show up at this time, this is what you got to have on. I love doing those things. But if somebody says, all you got to do is call in, I don't even have to check my schedule. I could do that tonight, right? Somebody said, well, we're just gonna put you on the phone and we're just gonna go live. That would be perfect for me. And there are a lot of people who are like that, and especially people who are really knowledgeable. I mean, you can really get some people you might not be able to get otherwise for an interview because they don't have to really prepare anything. Now, that there are pluses and minuses in that. Some people need to prepare. Some people need to be prepared for an interview if you interview them. But in general, when you go and get somebody, you're going to be pretty knowledgeable, and you'd have that easily, very easily. You can go and try to get a big fish, in other words, because all you really have to do is get them on the phone, right? If you know them personally, or if you met them, let's say you went to an event, you said, I got this show and I do this show. I just want to, talk to you for maybe 10 or 15 minutes. You can give me a call. And then when you find out they're going to call you at 10 on Monday, well, you can set your show up around them, as opposed to them having to be there and be on camera and all this other stuff. So that's what Blog Talk Radio does. But really the best, if you're not going to do an interview show and you're not trying to get a big fish, the best is going to be Anchor.fm or Spot, which is now Spotify. It's still free. It still connects to all of the podcast directories. So it's very good. It's very robust. And so I still recommend, whenever I tell people, and you should probably, when your students ask you, right, until there's a better solution, right? If your students ask you, and they will, when should I start a podcast? How should I start one? Just tell them to go to Anchor.fm, which is now Spotify for podcasters, and then just have them do that. You've got my PLR course, Spotify podcasting, right? You should walk them through it, right? Very easy to do. All right. Blog Talk Radios does not have video. Nope, Blog Talk Radios does not have video. It's audio only. And for those of us who have faces made for radio, it's perfect. I mean, I don't have to get pretty for audio. I can just get on and talk. And a lot of times I do. So that's what that is. All right, very good. Any other questions? Well, everybody, it is now 7:42, and my Goal is always to get you out of here in 38 minutes. So, and I was a little late, but I think we've got 30 minutes covered down flat. So, unless there are any other questions, which I'm happy to stay and answer, you could have been doing anything else on a Saturday night, but you chose to spend it with me, talking about internet marketing, which we all like to do. And I appreciate it, and I appreciate you too. So with that, thanks. Have a great night and a pleasant tomorrow. Take care.